time. When you live a life of crime, you have to face the music and do the time.
Good evening, parents of the West Shore School District and Central PA. Welcome to the Boiling Point. And tonight we have a very special guest with us, Celeste Jack, and we are going to speak about the hypocrisy of the families of the West Shore School District page on Facebook. I mean, guys, if you ever been on this page, trust me, this is Arrested Development at its best. And the sad thing is that, the people on this page are supporters of Terry Mickle, the candidate for school board director at Region 2. So let's get started. Hello,
Mhm.
Celeste. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Hasn't there been so much craziness this week going on with the West Shore
Yeah.
School District and the parents and these particular candidates?
Yes. There definitely has been.
Yes, we had a situation, guys, that you know, when you're campaigning and I did it, you have to get things out to the printers, and sometimes the
Yeah.
printer will make a mistake.
hmm
But it's funny to see how people react on different things. We had a whole big uproar and bashing of Kelly Brandt because there was one little mistake on her banner, and let's see what it was. So
hmm
it says, let me put on my glasses because you guys know I'm a blind bat here. Okay, so it says, because they're THEIR, because they're your children and it's
hmm
your money. So it should have been THEY apostrophe RE. Granted, it was a mistake from the printers, but we can see one of the parents on the top, Kate Wirt, pointing it out to everybody on that particular page of the error that was made and the mockery that happened was really ridiculous from a group of people that likes to dish out, dish out, dish out, but they can't take it because how many meltdowns haven't you seen
hmm
when I get on these podcasts and speak the truth?
hmm
What do you have to say about this, Celeste?
Well, actually, it surprises me a little bit that Kate's the one that pointed out because she was actually friends with us at one point. Am I correct?
Correct. That is
Yep.
correct.
hmm
Hmm.
And she helped us do a lot of things and helped us, get some transparency out there. And she was really good friends with a few of us. And all of a sudden, she is deciding that she is better than us. And she calls Kelly out. We all know that she has something against Kelly. So that should just give us a clue. But yeah. And here's the thing, everyone's like pronouns, pronouns, pronouns. Isn't that part of pronouns, anyways?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are
They,
they
them.
mad?
Like,
Because
I
yeah,
know.
are they mad because she used the pronoun? And
I
what
know.
what
It's just
what gives
like,
me a giggle, what really gives me a giggle, because I can be wicked. You see,
mhm,
Celeste is the nice one, guys. Let me help you understand. In our group, okay, we have a whole bunch of different personalities. I love them all. We're all crazy in our way, but Celeste is the level-headed and the nice and the sweet one. Now, there's another
mhm,
side to her too, but
mhm,
she is, so I'm the, I don't know. People call me wicked, people call me evil. I don't know what I am. But what I am. I tell you that I am what I am, you know.
yeah,
But what makes me giggle is that they're upset because she made a mistake, but this is from the group of people that have these things as their pronouns, okay? I
it's
mean,
so
can you
true.
it's crazy. Okay, so basically, what is a pronoun? So a pronoun describes, a noun, and it's I, you, she, it, they, him, her, me, yours,
Mhm,
myself, whom, there. Okay, and that's normal pronouns. This is what we grew up in school. Okay, this is what you will find in the Webster Dictionary as the
yeah,
definition of a pronoun. But we are living with people that have pronouns as yo. You see that one?
mhm. That's
Yo,
crazy.
yos, yo, self. I mean, I like that. Yo, self.
You better watch yourself. Watch
You better
yourself.
watch your.
Worry about
But yeah,
yourself. Worry
they're
about
making
yourself.
fun. You know, but they're making
hmm
fun of.
Here's the thing about me, and a lot of people don't know this about me, is that I'm saved, but I'm not soft.
There you go.
And um the thing, okay, so everyone, I'm just going to touch on this for a second because everyone's like, "Oh, you're a Christian, you should love everyone."
We do.
And the thing of it is that some Christians, okay, will use people's pronouns from a respectful use, okay, and their preferred pronouns as like they believe that it's an act of love or respect when they use them, okay, while others, like me, feel it compromises the truth of God's creation of male and female. So I will refuse. I remember I will refuse to use people's pronouns like that unless it is she, he, his, her. Those are the only ones I'm using. I remember when I was in my last job, there was an individual who had a birth given name, and they had actually asked me to call them something else. And I said, I will not be doing that. And they were like, why not? That's what I want to be called. That is not your name. Your name is blah, blah, blah. And I will be calling you by that name. Now, whether or not you choose to answer me is up to you. But I will be calling you by your birth name. And they were like, okay. And don't you know, I set that boundary and I called them by their birth name and they always answered me. Isn't that interesting? Because this is about identity. That's really just what it's about. These kids don't know their identity. And I blame some of the school. I blame some of the parents because they're not speaking into their identity. They're not telling them who they are. So it's allowing them to be confused. And then they're looking to their friends, which are usually not a good option if you're, especially if you're in that area, to affirm them. And that's where it gets really, really, really steep. I know this is probably something that you dealt with. I didn't deal with all of this junk when I was in school. You were either
Neither did I.
gay, lesbian. I mean, I didn't even deal with this whole trans stuff. I mean, you were either gay or you were a lesbian or like whatever. There was nothing else. Nobody was dressing up like a cat. No one was meowing. No one was doing. We didn't go for things like that. So what happened?
Well, I think what happened is, and my husband one time explained it beautifully. What it started in our colleges. It started in our
Mhm.
colleges. In our colleges, not only embracing communist way of thinking, but also liberal way of thinking. And it is a way of destroying our society. Okay.
Yep.
If you bring immorality like Rome, what did, Rome was a big, powerful empire. Okay.
Mhm.
What destroyed the Roman Empire? Do you remember?
No, I don't think I do.
What brought down the Roman Empire was when they started embracing homosexuality.
Oh, yes. Okay. I remember now.
Okay. So there was still a lot of other sins, okay, in Rome,
Mhm.
but that's
Yes.
the one that finished doing Rome off. And we are living in those days. Okay. We were
Mhm.
once a powerful empire or a powerful nation
Yeah.
blessed by God. Okay. We
Mhm.
turn our back, okay, on God and look at us now. We are a mockery around the
Mhm.
world.
Yep.
Russia makes fun of our military because even this mess, okay, has entered our military. Hopefully now with the new administration, they'll start, weeding all that out. Okay, so we
Mhm.
are a nation of mentally sick people. And I would
Yep.
take it further because I too am saved. So what are
Mhm.
my pronouns? Saved, sanctified, Holy Spirit filled, and fire baptized.
Yep.
Those are my
Mhm.
pronouns. Okay. However,
Mhm.
as a Christian, I would even dare say that we're seeing at times even demonic possession.
Yes.
Because when you're barking like a dog at somebody, okay, that's not normal. And yes, there is mental illness because there is. We
Yes.
can't say that everything is demonic, but
Yeah,
there's
that's correct.
also demonic possession.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as a Christian, I blame the teachers.
Yep.
I blame the
The
parents,
administration.
the administration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Some of those members of the board because they have enabled this and brought it in, specifically Brian Geiswhite. But you
Mm-hmm.
know who I also blame, Celeste? The church. Because
Mm-hmm.
we have stopped preaching that hell is hot. We have stopped preaching sin is sin. And
Yep.
we have compromised with the world. And if you look in Revelations chapter 3 and you see the seven churches in Revelation, you will see that a lot of those churches that God called out compromise with the world. Now, I'm not one of these Christians that I don't have the love boat mentality. It doesn't mean that I don't love people. Yes, I love people. Okay, I do.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that love, I'm going to speak the truth to you, whether you want to hear it or not. But
Correct.
I'm not on the love boat, and the church has been on this love boat cruise, okay, for too long. Love, 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 okay, and that's good.
Yep.
But because you love, you speak the truth. We
But
can't judge. Yes, we
when
can.
you love, 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 you still have to teach, teach, teach.
Correct. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where we stray out of. So now we have Christians like this young lady we were speaking about, Kate Worth, I think if I'm pronouncing her last name
Yes.
correctly, okay, who
Mhm.
claims to be a Christian, but by their fruits you shall know them. And
Yep.
I don't know about you, sister. I've been seeing a lot of rotten fruit lately.
Yep.
A lot of rotten fruit. So when the
And
Bible
when you
says
have
when
that rotten fruit there and you put some good fruit around it, you know all that other fruit's gonna rot too.
exactly, and we have stopped being the salt of the earth.
Hmm.
What does salt do? It heals and it preserves. We
Yep.
stop being the light of the world because now we want to, chummy up a Satan. And this is
Hmm.
what's happening, okay? And we have a sick community. We live in a sick community, in a
Yeah.
mentally sick community. Because if you think that calling your child yo, okay, or
Mhm.
calling your child, what is it, ver, it's that's normal.
Does make absolutely no sense to me. Yeah.
And you just said it. Here at the West Shore, we've lost all common sense.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to say our whole community, no, because although they look like they're a lot, okay, they are
Hmm.
not the majority. We are, but the
Yes.
majority needs to wake up, and the majority needs to start using their voice
And I also think that there's a lot of people who agree with what we are saying, but they are too silent
or scared.
because they're afraid. Exactly.
But
They're
yet
afraid to
again,
speak out.
if you call yourself a Christian, God has not given you the spirit of fear,
Hmm.
okay? Because
Yep.
when you remain silent,
Hmm.
you are allowing them to do what they're doing.
Hmm.
And some of us are in by our silence, it seems like we are agreeing
Hmm.
even though that we're not.
Yep. The
Okay,
fear
so
of God gets rid of all other fears.
correct.
So,
That is absolutely correct. And
yep.
what we're seeing, it's horrible. What we're seeing is horrible.
Hmm.
I mean, we have, guys, an election
Yes, we
coming
do.
May 20th, and this election
Hmm.
is pivotal as to what's going to happen with our children. Are we going to finish giving our children over to Satan? Or are we going to do what we say that we're going to do? And that is fight for their soul, because this is a fight for their soul.
Yeah.
This is a fight for their soul. And only you can decide where you really stand. Listen, Celeste was saying that, she will not call somebody, you know, outside of he or she. She's going to call them by what they were naturally born.
Yep.
I'll share something with you. I have transgender people in my family. Okay.
Okay.
One of them is an uncle. Now he lives in Puerto Rico, and his name is Joseph. So he changed his name, and he, went all trans, just the hair and everything. When you look at him, the makeup, you would think there's a woman, and he wants everybody to call him Jessica. And a lot of people, even Christian people in the family, are calling him Jessica. Until one day he came to me. I'm like, hey, Uncle Jose. Oh no, honey, my name is Jessica. No, your name is Jose.
Hmm.
I grew up with you as well. Joseph in Spanish is Jose. I grew up with you as Joseph.
Mhm.
Okay. You were Uncle Joseph and you're still Uncle Joseph. I
Mhm.
love you. I respect you as my uncle. Okay.
Mhm.
But you know where I stand on these matters. Now,
Yes.
I'm the
Sure.
only one that he allows, to get away with that. But he knows I love him and I know he loves me back. But we don't cross
You
that
know why?
line.
Because you honor him, okay? You went to him. You didn't say it like make a big deal about it. That's what Christians do. They go to the person and they
Hmm.
state, okay? And that's why. Same thing when I would not call this other person, but I went to them, okay?
Correct.
And it is an honoring thing.
It
So,
is. I mean, and that
mhm,
doesn't mean that we don't, as Christians, love. It doesn't mean that we hate. No, we
yes.
love them.
Mhm,
But because we
mhm,
love you, we're going to speak the truth.
that's correct.
Okay. And
Yep.
we have May 20th coming, guys. What are you going to do about it? Listen, we can either allow this lady
Mm,
to come in.
mm-mm.
Okay. Let's talk about Terry Mickle. Now, I stated many times that
Woo.
Terry Mickle is the wrong candidate. I've always said
Mhm.
you vote for Mickles, we're going to get in a pickle. And we are. First and foremost, her husband is part of this whole Sunshine Act violation. Okay, he has his hands in this
Mhm.
too. That
Mhm.
Sunshine Act violation has cost us over $100,000,
100.
and it's costing us more.
It's actually 120,000 as of right now.
Oh Lord. Oh
Yep,
Lord. Okay, and her husband has a hand on this, okay?
sure
And
does.
this money is coming out of our back. So she stands there looking all pretty and all smiley, but already this family is costing us money because they're accusing our conservative school board of doing something they did not do.
Yep.
They did not do. Okay, and the truth will come out, guys. They did not do. They are being slandered by people like Mickles and her cronies. Okay, so she supports
Mhm.
the LGBTQ agenda. She's running bipartisan, and if you look at her website, it's like, "Oh, I'm here for your kids. I'm here for the
Yeah.
family. I represent this,
Mhm.
and we're bipartisan, and we're not bringing political stuff." But no, they are the ones bringing the political stuff in. They are
Mhm.
the ones bringing the woke agenda in. So she is a big advocate, and Celeste and I have seen her in the meetings. So she is a big advocate of the LGBTQ agendas. She support
Mhm.
men in women bathrooms. She's among the people fighting that policy. I mean, that's a
Mhm.
common sense policy. We
Mhm.
have our daughters. We want our daughters safe. So that's a common sense policy. She's also supports transgender bathrooms, okay? And that's going
Yep.
to be interesting when that policy comes up. She's against parental choice. She is parroting Adam Trong when it
Yep.
comes to parental choice, okay? About attacking the cyber school kids, attacking kids that are homeschool, attacking kids that go to private school. But then when you ask the question, what are you guys doing to correct the problem of the bleeding that we have, the bleeding out of these children and the money that goes along with them, you hear crickets.
It's true.
She supports critical race theories. She supports pornographic novels in our schools. And guys, and they go, "What? They're not pornographic novels. They're not
Mhm.
pornographic novels." They're pornographic novels.
But she's also against the Redland Project.
And yes, she's absolutely totally against the Redland
Yep.
Project. And
Mhm.
what's the issue? Celeste, speak to me. What is the issue? Why is it that these people don't want these kids to have their own sports field? That makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me because I mean, I believe we are a really big school district. Really
Yes.
big. To have two high schools in a school district is unheard of in a lot of these counties, okay?
It's insane.
For them to come to us, they it doesn't make any sense to me because they're rivals to us. So why would we use the same playing field when they can have their own?
Correct.
Like even even field hockey, they have to come to us. Football, they have to come to us. Soccer, everybody has to come to us at Cedar Cliff. If they had their own, I believe that it would be a lot more calm on that football field.
Yes, because how many fights haven't we seen break out
Yeah.
in the football field?
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember, Celeste. I know Christy probably does. When I first entered this battle, a parent sent me a video. I believe it was of a Redland student. that had
Mm-hmm.
come to Cedar Cliff, and they were sharing the locker room, and how
Mm-hmm.
that student, that young man, I believe he was in the football team. He's graduated now. He's been graduated. They were attacking him and
Yep.
throwing soap at him. Do you remember that?
I do remember that story. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes. And I put
Mm-hmm.
the video up, and of course, I got a call from the administration, and from the parent, because this is the parent found out through us, through one
Mm-hmm.
of our videos, and was
I
able to go and
remember.
help her
Yep.
child. Okay, so
Mhm.
you're exposing, when there should be respect across the border, regardless what team is in what school. Let's just start with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
But when you're constantly in Cedar Cliff, you're exposing these kids also to bullying and harassment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody deserves their space. They
Yes.
shouldn't have to be the ones commuting in all weather.
It's kind of like I love having my own bathroom. I don't want to share it with my neighbor. We
Me
still
neither.
live in the same street right next door, okay? But I want my own bathroom, just
Correct.
like they want their own bathroom. It's the same thing. It's that privacy. It's that this is my field. This is your
Correct.
field. So, um, yeah, so she's against doing that. But here's the thing. I don't know why she's against it when there's a possibility that it's going to be completely funded.
And that's wonderful because that means it's not going to come out of the taxpayers' money.
Correct. Correct. Oh, and that's the other thing I'm going to tell you. I wanted to say is that Terry is max tax every single time.
Oh, so is Stokes, and so is
Hmm.
Brian Geiswhite, and so is Chris
Yep.
Cambick, and
Yep.
so is Abigail Trini. We know that. Okay, did I
Hmm.
miss one of them knuckleheads? I mean, yeah, they're all
Yep.
taxed to the max. That's their
Hmm.
solution. And that's
Yep.
disgusting because that's not a balanced budget. And I've said that many times. A balanced budget
Yeah.
means a balanced budget. You're not in the red. So
Hmm.
the projections, I think, for next year about us being in the red, Jonathan got them. Jonathan said we're
Okay.
looking at, and Jonathan, if I'm correct, if I'm incorrect, uh, put a little note or something. But I believe it's what $45 million in the red, the projection for
Yep.
next
Hmm.
year. And that's disgusting. And now they hit us with another tax.
Yeah. Another one. But so aside from Terry Mickle being married to the lawsuit, um,
Oh, I like that. Married to the
yeah.
lawsuit.
Hmm.
Don't give me
Um,
ideas, Celeste.
Terry is max tax. Okay. She's also um here's the other thing. So I read on here, she's the director of articulation at the Harrisburg University of Science and Technology. She brings over 20 years of experience in education with special focus in post high school outcomes and academic partnerships to support development in STEM careers. Okay, so Miss Terry, let's articulate something else. You have no idea what you're doing.
Correct.
Um, she is going to damage this school district more than
Yes.
it currently has been. Okay.
Yes.
Like before. So she is against the Redland Project. She has said it multiple times. Okay. She's for genders using the same bathrooms and playing in the same sports together. Okay.
That's correct.
She is the reason I homeschool. There you go.
Wow. That's deep.
She is the reason that our schools are failing because she is so worried about her own agenda that she forgets what school is really supposed to be. Like, she's forgetting what we actually need, and it's not her. It's
No, it's
not her.
not.
Um, she's also trying to portray herself as a bipartisan.
My big toes bipartisan.
Yeah. And she's on the wrong side of the playing field. And she's wasting our
She's on
tax.
the wrong
She's going
side
to
of
waste our
everything.
tax. Yeah, she's going to waste our tax dollars. Here's
Even
something
more.
else that I really, really want to ask is I'm going to ask Terry at some point when I can get her like right here. I'm going to say, what connections do you have? Because I can
Mm.
guarantee she has none. Okay. I'm going to
Hmm.
ask her, where are you going to get $2 million? Who's going to support you and get you $2 million? Or let's just even say $3 to $5 million for the natatorium. Who are you going to get to give us that money? Because the person that supports what we're doing here isn't going to give it to her.
True.
True. Okay.
Very true.
So I want to know who she knows, because I can guarantee you nobody is going to give her that money.
That's right. You have to be able to fundraise. You
Mm-hmm.
need connections. You need to be able to network. Or I mean, and even when you hear her speaking, when you hear her speaking in the board, she doesn't bring anything of substance. All she's
Mm-hmm.
doing is parroting her cronies.
Yep.
Am I right? She really brings
Mhm.
nothing of substance. And the
And
Red
here's
Land Project, we need that. We need that field.
we do.
And the natatorium
Mm-hmm.
the natatorium had been way overdue for repairs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, Celeste, when the parents were coming in crying about the natatorium, how the kids were in danger and possibly getting hurt?
Yes, I do remember that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's against the natatorium. She's against spending all this money.
Yes. And the
Mm,
other thing is I was thinking about this. In what other years previously, okay, um, when other people were board president and things like that, when have we ever gotten $1-2 million in grants before?
never that I
Exactly.
remember.
We've never. It was not until Heidi and Kelly right here. Okay. Now Heidi's
Correct.
off to the side, but Kelly's here. That is when we started to get the grants.
Hmm. You're
So
right.
that should
You're
say a lot.
absolutely right. And I've been living in this community for like what, 12 years now. And you're absolutely right. Never have I seen it. Okay, and we're
Mhm.
seeing it now, and we're jeopardizing that because they want to hold on to their woke agendas. They want to
Mhm.
hold on to their indoctrination.
Mhm.
They want to hold on to these awful curriculums. They want boys in women's sports. They want
Yep.
boys in women's bathrooms. So
Mhm.
we're going to lose all this progress over somebody like
Mhm.
Mickles.
Mhm.
Okay, and when I say these things, I'm not saying it to be mean. Everything you see here, it's because it's
Yep.
the truth.
It is
It's
the
it's
truth.
it's the gospel truth. So guys, we need to put out the word, and we need to make sure that when we head out on May 20th and in November, that we
Mhm.
keep Kelly Brent in that seat.
Yes.
In that
Because I
seat.
think, and here's the thing, I think a lot of people just don't know. They see Kelly in this seat, but they don't know her.
Correct. And they don't
Right?
they haven't allowed themselves the
No, they haven't.
opportunity to know her, and they have even weaponized their children
Mhm.
against
Mhm.
her. How many times
Mhm.
have we sat in school board meetings and have the children of these people of the left attack Mrs. Brent in a
Yep.
school board meeting, and these kids have been indoctrinated and have been, given a script to say? How many times have we seen that?
Yes, a lot. Because we're sitting there, we're like, we know he did not write that.
Correct?
Like it's just unheard of. Um, and the thing, and something else that I think that's really important for everyone to know is that, the whole thing that the minority board members are blaming the new majority for all of this stuff, when the true fault happened way before Kelly.
Yes,
And
and have I not been saying that?
she is in here cleaning up their crap for years.
Mhm. Mhm.
And because she's talking about it now, everyone seems to think it's new stuff, and it's not.
No, it's
She
stuff that
and
they
when
were
she
trying to hide.
Yeah, and there's so many things that she is trying to implement and do and talk about, and her hands are tied because of superintendent and other people on the board, um, that won't allow her to do things that she knows needs to be done.
But you know what, Celeste? I also believe that policy needs to be rewritten in reference to the
Hmm.
superintendent because they have
Hmm.
given him too much authority that does not
That's
belong
correct.
to him. And I do not understand how he feels. Okay. For example, in the last meeting, how he felt that it was appropriate and it was, correct to speak to Mrs. Brent the way that he did. The disrespect, okay, the insubordination from him, he needs to be reined in, and they need to revise some policies and rein that man in. Because
Mhm.
who is he to tell the board members that they can't assist a parent, that they can't meet with a parent, what they can and cannot do? He forgets that they are his employer. And the
That's the thing.
blatant
That's
disrespect.
it. He forgets what his role is.
Correct.
He's forgetting what his role is.
Correct. He thinks he's a board member and he is
Mhm.
not. And the disrespect that he has shown
Mhm.
Mrs. Brent from the very beginning, and also Heidi Thomas, okay? Well, the
Mhm.
conservative board when they came in, and the audacity of going out to the media and speaking the way that he has spoken about them, and giving, bad information. Well, I'm going to call it what it is, lying to them. Okay,
Lying
in
to
order
them.
to gain something. And
Mhm.
this is the reality right now of the West Shore School District. I feel, why don't they like Mrs. Brent? Because Mrs. Brent is a threat. Mrs. Brent is fighting for the children. Mrs. Brent
Mhm.
is fighting for the parents, okay? And they
Yep.
do not like that because they feel that they're losing
Mhm.
the little bit of power that they have left. What is wrong with the minority, especially those veteran school board members that are still there, that they are angry that they lost their little club, because it wasn't a school
Yep.
board, it was a club, okay? And
Yep.
they were, it was like, they were high-fiving each other, and they were all working together to silence the parent. They don't have
Mhm.
that power anymore. Why does Brian Geisway sit there like a lemon head? Because he lost the presidency. Okay,
Yep.
however, he had no
Mhm.
respect for a lot of the parents when he was the president, and he was silenced and have parents escorted out. Okay, so
Yeah.
they don't like the fact that the community said enough is enough. Let's change this board around, and now they're trying to fight them tooth and nail, and they have gone as far as to come up with this frivolous lawsuit, okay, in order to silence them and keep them distracted. And it is
Mhm.
what I call the John Elliott
Mhm. John Elliott. Yeah.
lawfare. Yeah,
Mhm.
the John Elliott lawfare. Doesn't he look like Stephen King? But but
Mm.
anyway, he has people, okay, working
Yeah.
with him, okay, the nine, members of the community that are suing along with him. Tara High, come on, she's all sore because she
Yeah. She's in
didn't
there.
win the last, election. Okay, then we
Mhm.
have, Dan Mickle in there involved in that, and there Jane Vivier, who's been, a problem in our community for years. And then of course we have the people that I call that they're in hiding, because we all know that Abigail Turney's behind this. We know it. Come on,
Oh
we know it.
yeah.
We know it. Anyway, we know
She's
that
the
Todd Stoltz is
ringleader.
supporting this. Of course she is, and we all know it.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's why I call her Jezebel. But and Todd
Yeah.
Stoltz is behind it,
Seriously.
and some of his administrators also behind it. Guys White, of course, Cam Big
Mhm.
Trong. This is nothing new, and this is a frivolous, lawsuit that. Thank you for letting me know that it's costing us 120, $120,000
Yep.
plus. Okay, and
Yep.
then this woman's husband and herself are involved in this shenanigan, and
Yep.
they're gonna stand there and say that she's for fiscal responsibility. No, you're like Robin Hood.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You're stealing from people that
Seriously.
has less than you.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so
Yeah. And and Kelly, um, like she's for truth. She's for the Red Land Project, and she's for common sense leadership. Um, curriculum transparency. These are all things that Terry cannot. She is not for. School safety, and her pamphlet says because it's your money and they're your children. Okay, so she is a strong conservative and independently minded individual
mhm.
who is more than capable of doing extensive research
Yes, she
before
is.
making any decisions. People look at her and think, oh, she didn't read anything. No, she's doing extensive research before
Hmm.
she's making a decision on any policy that is brought to her attention.
And
So
that
when
is a
she
good
is
sign of a
looking,
leader.
yes, it definitely is. When Tierney's saying, well, you don't read things and you don't, yes, she does.
Yes, she does.
She's being very careful about what she is agreeing to and what she is bringing to the meetings and things like that. Um, so it's funny because I was sitting here and I'm like, what is, Kelly against? I'm like, Kelly's against lies. Like, that's
Hmm.
just Like she's against the
Mhm.
lies. And and here's the thing. People are going to try and go after her, okay? And they're going to try and bring things to the table that have happened or are happening or whatever. Here's the thing. You can't make Kelly feel bad. Like you can't hurt her. Like she is
There's no reason.
strong.
And she's
Yeah,
real
she is strong and she is real. And
and
more
transparent.
importantly, she's got a whole clan behind her, okay? That
Mhm.
she won't back down. She won't back down.
There's no reason to, because when you
You can't
stand by the
and you
truth
can't
and you
hurt
have the
her.
truth.
You can't hurt her more than she has already been hurt in the years. I mean, people in the audience on that whole May, what was that date? That was April 11th of last year. People
Uh-huh.
that were previous board members, okay, flipping her off and saying all of these derogatory things to her. And she said nothing because you're not allowed, but she still said nothing, okay? Um, you can't hurt her. You can't hurt her more.
And I'm glad that you brought that date up, because I don't know if you saw my last video with Abigail Tierney ticking off the Easter bunny. Okay, so you see
I
the
did,
Easter
yeah.
bunny. Yeah, he
Hmm.
left something in my basket, and it's to show that, yeah, the mob was out, but that mob was called out by Abigail Tierney,
Yep.
and I was very clear, and I showed it for everybody to see. Okay,
And it's
and
so true because those people aren't coming to the meetings now.
correct.
They
Correct.
were
It
only
was
there
all to
for
make
that.
a spectacle, and it was
Hmm.
a thing of distraction. And then we have Danielle Gross, okay,
Hmm.
Danielle D. Gross, okay,
Hmm.
bringing in the media whenever she feels like it, okay,
Yep.
and the York Dispatch, which I lovingly call the York Dumpster, okay, also,
Hmm.
spinning these lies. So it's really been disgusting. But who's have been the puppet master here? It's been Tierney. All
Tierney.
this time,
Yep.
it's been tyranny, and she knows that we know. She thinks that we're stupid, and like I
Mhm.
said, we, the parents in the community, we're not stupid. We're onto you. We've been onto you for a while.
Yeah, and it's okay. So it's Tierney, but there's Trone too.
Oh yeah, Trunk's a soy boy,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
Trunk, Oh, let me tell you, I have a secret to share with you later. Trunk likes a text message. And I'm gonna leave it
Mhm.
there. We talk about it over coffee later, because I got some stuff
Mhm.
to show you, sister. He loves the text message. But Tron is a follower. Okay, but
Yep.
when Tron is smacked down with the truth, that's when the
Mhm.
soy boy come down, because he knows no truth. Okay.
Yep.
And Tron's hands are dirty. I'm gonna
Oh,
tell you
I know
that,
that.
folks, right now.
Mhm.
Tron's
Mhm.
hands are dirty. But that's for another video. Okay.
Yep.
And
That's
Brian Geiswhite, he's another one you have to be careful with.
oh, butt wipe. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, we have so many names. So him, mine is my favorite is Lemonhead, because he always says they're looking like a
Mhm.
lemon head. Okay, and
Yeah.
he's another one. He is another one. He is not for I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna surprise me at all if when they vote for this thing to keep the boys out of the girls' bathroom, if he votes against it. It's not gonna
Mhm.
surprise me. It's not gonna surprise me. I expect that. I expect the
Because he's a
four
follower. Mhm.
yeah, I expect the four bozos, okay,
Yep.
to vote against it. I really do. And I expect the clown circus to be there. Okay,
Yep.
so yes, a lot of the stuff that Kelly has been dealing with has been things that has been there since the last administration, and she's cleaning up the mess, and then they're trying to make it look like that mess is there because of her. No, that mess
Ye-
was there because they left a lot of things. They put a lot of things in place before they came into office.
Yes.
Even this ridiculous contract that Tostos has. Okay, that they say is steel clad. Okay, they even you see his contract was to be renewed after the board members came into their seats. They did it before it had
Oh,
even expired, to
and
make
that's not a
sure that
violation?
there's a lot of violations there. There's a
Interesting.
lot of violations there. Like, for
Okay.
example, let's talk about how Tostos got his job. There was no RFP for him.
Oh, oh yeah, let's talk about that. Did they follow the
Mhm.
Sunshine Law Act?
Oh, of course
No.
not. They just
Oh,
plopped them in there. Him and his
yeah.
tacos. They
Hmm.
just plopped them in there. So let's talk a little bit about Old Lemonhead.
Okay.
Now, you know Lemonhead longer than I believe, okay? So in his term, we saw a lot of mess. We saw the porn coming in. We also had, I don't know if you remember this, Celeste, when they tried to stop prayers at the high school events. Remember that?
Yes, I
That
do.
they, okay, that, yes, okay. Then we had this little blue form here now that you can't call the school board members by name. And that was the mastermind of Danielle Gross. And I have the right to know if you ever want to see it. That was the mastermind of
Hmm.
Danielle Gross, Brian Geiswhite, and Cambic, and Stokes was included in there also. I have the email. I have the right to know to prove it. Okay.
So
So this is the
so
man.
we're not allowed to call them by name anymore?
No, and that
Huh.
is also unconstitutional. That's
Yeah.
unconstitutional because they're our elected officials, okay? And it goes against the PA General Assembly. If you get the PA General Assembly booklets,
I'll just use their birth, I'll just use their pronouns for birth, like she, him, like, and I will point. There's nothing that says I can't point. Okay, cool.
exactly. Well, you know me. I'll be like the taco eating dragon,
Yeah.
Jezebel, soy boy, Lemonhead.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
can
not
see it.
calling them
I
by
can see
name.
it
I'm
now.
innocent.
I can see it
I'm
now.
innocent.
And Butt Wipe said, okay, yeah,
Oh,
I
jeez.
can see it now. Okay.
So talk to me. What is your opinion as a parent of Lemonhead?
Well, actually, he is,
A Lemonhead.
because I have not been in the school district, so I pulled my kids out long before I ever really got involved. Yes. I remember, so let me just say this. I don't ever really remember the school board being involved at all in the schools as much as they seem to be right now. Okay.
Seem to be. Hmm.
Seem to be. You see pictures of different things of like the superintendent and at different events, but I don't really remember. Even when I was in school, I never saw any school board members in my school. I never did. And I went to Cedar Cliff. So the thing of it is, though, is that I think he's hiding more than we know.
Oh, yes, he is.
Um, isn't trying to think. Doesn't he have? Didn't he have a brother or something that? No, that wasn't him. That
No,
was the
the
other.
one that had a yeah, that was
That
Cambic.
was Cambic. Yeah, that's right. Okay, because I remember
And
him in
Cambic
my
is
school
totally
too.
ineffective because he just sits there like Beaker from the Muppets.
Yeah, yeah, but he. We're talking about Guy White, right?
Yep.
Who are we talking about? I just have.
We're
They're all right here.
talking about Guys White. We're talking about Guys White, Lemonhead.
Yes. Okay. So, oh, you mean the one that always gets up and goes to the bathroom? And
Oh no, that's Cambic.
oh, that's Cambic. Okay, see? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, no, but Geiswhite wasn't there for a few meetings.
exactly. He was the one that went AWOL.
Yes, he went
Okay.
AWOL.
Uh-huh.
Nobody could hear him. Okay, or nobody saw him. But he did
And he's
get
the
up a
one that
couple
doesn't know how to
times.
use a mic.
And he's also the one, he did get up a couple times and go to the bathroom. I remember that because remember Cambic went to go get him in the bathroom. Do you remember that?
No. No, I
Okay.
think I think what you're talking about was last year when they were going to pass the budget. So when they
No,
were
I
going to
remember
pass the
Cambic called
budget,
him. I remember that. I remember that.
exactly. Exactly. He went to
Mhm.
Argot and had him call. But who knows? Maybe there's an issue that we have to donate the pens to the school board.
Yes, true, true. They work, I hear.
We're taking donations from the
So,
we're taking donations of the
but
pens.
going back, like I don't really know a lot about him. However, I know that there is a lot.
There is a lot, and especially like I keep saying, this.
He always seems
I
to
mean,
have something to
I
say, but he doesn't have any
and
anything quality.
it's nothing productive. All he's doing is
No.
criticizing, or he's trying to gaslight the
Hmm.
community.
Yeah.
Okay, but my main thing, and what I think that his presidency, when he was presidency, what he's going to be known for is this, what I'm putting right here. Okay, which is
Okay.
he allowing his wife, who was the head librarian at the time, and
Mhm.
I think that was a conflict of interest,
I
and
remember.
also the head of the LGBTQ clubs to bring this trash into our schools and then deny that it was there when it's still there, and then to
When
say
was
that
he
it's not
president?
pornography when it is.
When was he
Oh,
president?
I know his. Well, he was president for a couple of years. I have to look it up. How many years? Kirsty, where are you? She's the one that has all these facts. But for
Okay.
a couple of years, he was the president there.
Okay.
Okay. But
And who was the president before that?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look
I
all this up
honestly,
too.
I
Okay.
honestly do not know because I've only been out here, um, going on 12
You
years
said
now.
12. Yeah. Okay.
Right, going on
I've been
12.
out here for about
So
30.
okay. Okay, so yeah, I've
Mm-hmm.
been out this way in Central PA for maybe like 12 years.
Okay.
And what I'm seeing of the school is just not, you know. But getting back to the topic here, guys, listen, elections are coming. Okay, so if you guys really want to move forward with the kids, you know, and you really want, you know, common sense to
Yeah.
come back into the West Shore School District, you know, and you want curriculums that are actually curriculums, not indoctrination, okay, then I would highly suggest to you reelect Kelly Brandt for
Yep.
school board director. She is in Region 2 of the West Shore School District. She has brought already curriculum transparency into our school, and that will continue. Thank God. She is fighting for this Red Land project, and like Celeste was saying, every kid do need, you know, and should have their own, you know, sports field in their schools.
Yep.
Okay, she is fighting also, you know, for the community for fiscal responsibility. They had gotten angry at her many times in many meetings that I have seen because she questions certain expenditures and she has the right to do so because some expenditures can be, you know, ridiculous, like this thing with the iPads. Okay. And I'm with her. We should not be giving kindergarten kids iPads, and it does affect them. Okay.
Mm,
It does affect their eyes. It affects, you know, them mentally. It affects them spiritually. And, you know, we just had a parent that, oh, where is, I think it's Fairview, that her daughter goes to, her son, and they're already using these iPads. So the child couldn't find the charger. Now you know that Apple, okay, their products that they made is specifically for Apple,
yeah.
and their products are expensive, and so are their accessories. So if you lose a charger, you lose something, you are expected to replace it. So the teacher asks the parent, are you in a position to be able to buy this, you know, piece of equipment? And she's like, wait a minute, if the district gave us this, you know, then the district should give us a charger. So they are
Um,
getting this, you know, a very expensive company that everything's exclusive to them. And then if something is lost, the parent is supposed to foot that bill also. I think is spending $1.2 million. It might not seem a lot, but it is for a district that's practically bankrupt, because that's how Brian
mhm.
Geiswhite left us. He left us bankrupt. Okay.
Yes, you
The
did.
situation that we're in was his brainchild. Okay. To now spend $1.2 million on tablets versus a laptop, I think it is foolish. It is
Yep.
irresponsible. And I don't think that should go forth because, okay, so
I do
they
have
were
a
saying,
question.
yes.
I want to ask a question. What other schools do asynchronous days, or what other school districts use iPads for days off or activity day, whatever it is?
To my knowledge, none. I can be
That's
wrong.
interesting. Okay.
Maybe Cumberland Valley, but I would have to look into that. I know that in Dauphin County they don't.
Okay.
Okay, and again, you know, and there's nothing wrong with the technology if we can afford it. Our district is bankrupt. Let's call it for what it is. It's bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
If they're
We
not
should have
taxing you
never
to the
got
max,
those.
they're not going to be able to pay the bills. And you see, me, no, we should have
Well,
never.
here's my thing
We should have
though.
never.
Uh,
You know,
Before
but with me,
COVID,
like I said,
I don't think they ever had them because I had to go pick one up.
we No, they did not. Oh, this happened after COVID. Before COVID, it was books. I still
Yeah,
have some of the books of the kids
exactly.
here. It was, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the old-fashioned books and paper and notebook and whatever. Now they were granted. Truth be told, they were already in the red when COVID hit. They were already in a bad situation. So COVID came along with money, the ESSER funds. So you
Yeah.
had to, or he had to, as you can see here. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
trying to be a furry there. But anyways, you can see here, he had to, in order to accept that money, mask up our kids. So yes, they sold our kids for federal funding that came with money, and they needed the money because they were already in the red. So that money that they received became a safety net. And that money kept coming in and coming in. And with that money, there were curriculums that they had to, bring in. With
They had
that
to
money,
implement.
or this,
Yep.
right, SEL and DEI, it all came connected to this money.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Brian Geiswhite who brought
That's
that
right.
in. That's when
Mm-hmm.
things started really going to hell in a handbasket. Okay, so here we still are. The COVID money is no longer there, and now we are in a bigger hole than before COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
And
so
once
again,
again, Kelly is cleaning up a mess.
that was left by Geiswhite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's cleaning up all this donkey that he left behind. And I'm not opposed to technology. I'm really not. Okay, if we can afford it.
Yep.
And we cannot afford it, and that's the truth of the matter. Okay,
Yeah.
so Kelly and Mandy and Heidi, okay, they will say it. Okay, even Mrs. Cox, they will say we can't afford this, and and plus you add on, that he came at her when she bought some very good facts. It does affect your eyes, okay. It
Mm-hmm.
does affect their focus and their attention, okay. And if there are studies, there are medical studies proving that prolonged screen time is not good. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
more than 2 hours, they say they don't recommend. Doctors
Mm-hmm.
don't recommend. So he's like, well, how do you know how many hours? Well, Dingaling, they're in school all day, and I can tell you about my own boys. They're in every class. They're on the computer
Yep.
in every
Now,
class.
my daughter, when she was in kindergarten during COVID, like when it first started, and she very much disliked iPad school, is what she called it.
Hmm.
And even going back into the first grade, and you were going, she was going a couple days a week or whatever it was, and then eventually every day, and that was only for 2 months because I pulled her out. I'm like, I'm done. So, because
And
it's just
you did the best
everything.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
You did the best thing in pulling your child out, because really,
Mm-hmm.
our schools have become indoctrination camps.
Yep.
My boys have told me how they have bought in Cedar Cliff Planned Parenthood in, and they took and they put the word um female on one side of the board, male on the other side of the board. Then they
Mm-hmm.
took duct tape and they put an X on female and they put an X on duct tape, and they said that male and female don't exist. That you are what you feel that you are. And this was in Cedar Cliff High School. Okay, so it's become indoctrination camps on our tax dollars.
Yeah,
So
that's
you did,
ridiculous.
and and I will tell you this, guys. Listen, if by any chance Mrs. Brent and Mrs. Gonzalez, because Mrs. Gonzalez is fighting against challenging Brian Geiswhite in
Yep.
Region 3. Okay, and she's
Mm-hmm.
advocating to restore parental rights and transparency. But I will tell you this, guys. If Mrs. Brent and Mrs. Gonzalez does not get in, okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
toast. We're
Yep.
toast, because anything good that has been done is going to be reversed.
Yep, that's
Okay,
correct. And then
they're
you're
going to
really
come
gonna
back with a
cry.
vengeance.
You think you're really
Yes,
gonna cry at that point.
yes, exactly. They're going
Mhm.
to come back in with a vengeance and bring this trash in with a vengeance. Okay,
Mm.
we have to say enough is enough. We already started cleaning out the West Shore School District. We need to finish this job, because you know what? The mental health of our children, the health of our children, the sanity of the children, and our sanity, their
Mhm.
futures, their academic success, okay, all depends on it. Okay, because our kids are graduating from high school right now not knowing anything. Okay, there
Mhm.
is no academic excellence. We're West Shore proud. I roll
Yeah,
my eyes every time I hear it.
even looking at a clock,
They can't read it.
like they can't even read it.
They can't read it. Okay, so if they lose, then I highly recommend that you pull your children out of the West Shore School District, put them in
Yep.
cyber school, put them in, homeschool if you can homeschool, in a Christian academy if you can, because
Mm.
we're done. We are done if they lose. So, guys, this is a very pivotal moment in the West Shore School District. Are we going to allow the indoctrination and the destruction of our kids continue with these
Yep.
people that claim that, they're for your children, that claim that, they are for you, that claim for their parental rights
Mm.
and transparency and curriculum transparency when they're not? Okay, all they want to do is bring the trash that we taken out back in. Are we going to chance the future of our children and the future of this community with individuals like this?
Nope.
Or are we going to keep moving forward and we are going to bring the change that the West Shore School District, needs? Somebody has said to us that the West Shore School District has become a cartoon, has become a joke in Central PA, and it has. But it's not
Yep.
because of the conservatives that we have on board. No, it's because of community members like these that are
Mm-hmm.
working alongside corrupt administrators, that
Yep.
corrupt administration that we have, to continue to bring this garbage into our schools. Okay. And some of these people, I dare say, probably have mental health issues themselves. Okay, because in order to believe that it is okay for you, to bring this trash into the school, that says a lot about you and the lack of your morality. But to
The
we have
people that are bringing this into our school are the ones that are also having identity issues. So,
correct, that is well said. Okay, and then one thing I must say about Mrs. Brent is that she's literally have had to become Wonder Woman. She
yep.
had to literally become Wonder Woman to
And Wonder Woman's
fend
my
off
favorite.
the. Oh, mine too. But she's had to fend off all these attacks. They tried to cancel her husband's business. People, come on. If
Mm-hmm.
this is not Arrested Development, if this is not high school stuff, they try to cancel his business. They call a cancel campaign against his business, and I'm sure Attorney was behind that too. I mean, they
Yep.
try to cancel her business. Okay, and that's just one of the things. I mean, there are things that they have done to her in private that I can't even say. I won't say. Okay, but that I do know about. Okay, the attacks in every which way. The attacks to her
Mm-hmm.
home, the attacks to her character, the attacks to her business. What else? I mean, these people, and I'm gonna tell you this, Celeste, they're gonna play dirty. I feel it. They're gonna play dirty. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
throw everything but the kitchen sink. She's already bare all this. And this image, guys, yes, this I took a picture of Kelly. I put it through EI. I said make her look like Wonder Woman. This is what we
Mm-hmm.
got. So it's an AI image. But they're gonna throw
They
everything
can
but the
play
kitchen
dirty
sink.
all they want. I'm bringing soap.
We have to bring soap, ammonia, disinfectant. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
mean the garden hose, the fire hose, everything we need to bring. Okay, but we need to fight back. Okay, so
Yeah.
guys, May 12th is crucial. It is pivotal
Very
in
crucial.
our community and in the
Mm-hmm.
future of your child. So you're either going to let your voice be heard and vote the right people in again, okay,
Yep.
and bring in Mrs. Gonzalez, because we need Mrs. Gonzalez on this board.
Yeah.
We need Mrs. Gonzalez, whether you like her or you don't. This woman is a warrior for parental rights, a warrior for your children. Okay,
And she isn't gonna
a
put up with
warrior for your
anything.
voice. I'm
Yeah,
sorry?
she's not gonna put up with anything that they have to
Oh,
say
no,
over
she's
there.
not.
Mm-hmm.
We need to bring in Mrs. Gonzalez. Enough of Mr. Geiswhite. We need to keep Mrs. Brent in, okay? Let your voice be heard. It is
Yes.
time for us to fight back with our voices, with our actions, and at the voting booth. We're not like the left. We don't play dirty, but we will speak the truth and we will put the truth out there. And from today on until this campaign is over, we will be exposing the truth. We will
Yes.
be exposing the darkness of the West Shore School District, of these veteran school board members that need to be voted out. Unfortunately, Region 1 is done because
Mm-hmm.
Region 1, Abigail Turney is leaving, praise God, but we have Mary Dunkowski coming in, and Mary Dunkowski is just a younger version of the Abigail Turney, and even worse because she supports BOM, she supports
Mm-hmm.
Antifa. And I have to
Yeah.
prove she supports everything that's woke. She used to be a principal, I believe it's in the Sutton York district, and she resigned. And she resigned because the district used the Independence Law Center for some sort of policy, and she had a mental breakdown, and left her position. How
Yep.
I mean, how saying is that?
Yeah.
Okay, or
Exactly.
somebody who was a principal. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so why are we collecting the trash from other districts and bringing it in? It is time to clean out the West Shore School District. So we are wrapping up. Is there anything else you want to share with us, Celeste?
No, I just think it's really important that not only do you do your research and know who you are voting for, that you actually get out and vote. and tell people to get out and vote. So,
Correct.
yep, that's all I have to say.
Get out and vote May 20th. Region 2, Kelly, Brent,
Brent.
all the way. Kelly, Brent, all the way. Region 3, Mrs. Sandra Gonzalez. We need to bring change. And if we want to change and we want to take this district and put it right back on course where it should be, we need to finish the job that we started a year ago. We need to have these people, these key people in the school board. And we need to finish taking this woke indoctrinated infection that we have, this cancer that's trying to come in. We got to kill this cancer. Not physically. It's not physically. Okay, people don't get crazy. I mean, we need to, we need to take the scalpel and we need to cut off the cancer from this body so that our children can flourish, grow, learn, and succeed. So with that, I want to remind you that tomorrow, people, at 10 a.m., we are at Redland High School. We are having our prayer walk. If it rains, we will pray from our cars, but we are pulling these strongholds that is holding the West Shore School District captive and down. We're pulling these strongholds down in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. If it rains, we will pray from our car, but it will be still at 10 o'clock. So this is Mariana. Thank you for joining the Boiling Point. Celeste, thank you. A warrior. Just to remind people, Celeste is the lady that came to the school board and she prayed the demons out of there. Boy, did they howl. Boy, were they upset. But praise God. This is our warrior, Celeste.
Yes.
So Celeste, I
Thanks
you
for
coming
having
to the
me.
Boiling Point. Anytime. God bless, and we will talk soon.
Okay.
Adios, Mariana. Sign.
Oh, I'm trapped again, and fate as always hasn't wrapped again. I always get caught in my life of sin, but I just keep on going back again. You know I'm lost again, when all I wanted was to find a friend, someone that I can always depend on to help me find my life again.